that is all you want. Girl, you make me want to feel like I've never felt before.
Hi guys, my name is Martyn. I'm originally from England and I'm a dive master on board the Nautilus Belle Amie. But you have to make sure that you attach this end to the oxygen, otherwise it's completely useless. But you'll look funny as you watch the patient die. I originally came to Nautilus Liveaboards to really experience big animal diving. I've done most of my, well, all of my professional diving in Southeast Asia with beautiful coral reefs. There was some mantas there as well, but I'd never really been specifically diving with big animals, and this is one of the best places, if not the best place in the world to do that.
My photo.
Look at the eye.
Yeah.
The eyes roll back. The dive master job here at Nautilus is for a range of individuals, but mainly I'd say that what the core values are: you've got to be a hard worker, you've got to be passionate about the ocean and what you're doing in the water with your guests and with your colleagues. Always be professional as well. We're not offering a normal type of diving. This is luxury liveaboards in some of the most incredible areas in the world, and I think you should feel kind of privileged to be here and work accordingly. I'd say the main challenge of living on board for a month is the lack of personal space. It's sometimes quite difficult to find a little bit of alone time, although there is always places you can go, maybe up to the top deck, maybe up into the bridge, or you can just go to your cabin and get tucked away with a book and kind of find a bit of peace. It's long hours in the day, sometimes quite strenuous work, and we always need to be on our game. So teamwork is exceptionally important, that we work well together, efficiently together, to get the job done correctly and get it done safely. But also team spirit is so important. If you don't have that, then you're really not going to be enjoying your job. And I really love the cohesiveness of the teams that we have here. We all understand kind of what we're aiming to achieve, and we all work very hard to support each other in getting the job done, and also having as much fun as possible while we're doing it. So. A lot of your time you're spent maintaining and cleaning effectively the vessel, making sure that she looks good, that she works correctly, and that she's a nice and enjoyable space for not only your guests but for you to live. Not only the dive masters, but all of the crew here, we are very focused on safety. It's one of the cornerstones of our company, and so it's drilled into us very hard, and we take it very seriously. We do a drill or several drills every trip to do with firefighting, man overboard. The vessel obviously adheres to the highest possible safety standards, and we will also undergo crew block training before and sometimes after every single contract rotation to make sure our skills stay sharp and up to date. At the end of every single trip we have a safety meeting with all of the crew to discuss where we could potentially improve safety, and that might be to do with procedures or certain equipment or staff and things like that. So when we arrive to Guadalupe in the evening, we drop the hook down, make sure the vessel is secure, and once we know that, we can start deploying the cages. We do this using a crane on the stern and deploy them one by one, making sure that they're all fixed securely, all the hookah lines are running straight, and that the air supplies are working properly. To get the guests up to speed with what we're going to be doing and a little bit more about the animals we're going to be encountering, within the trip we have a couple of presentations or briefings on the first sailing day. This is mainly about cage safety and cage procedures in our Cage 101, and then later on we do one about the sharks in our Shark 101 to learn more about these animals and the island itself. It's pretty much because of this movie, because of fear. Fear makes people do dumb stuff. Alright? Guadalupe Island is absolutely incredible. It's quite large and it's so high that it actually creates its own microclimate where clouds heading over the Pacific will actually split around the highest point of the island, which is over 1,000 meters high, and it creates almost like a waterfall of clouds coming down the backside, which is amazing. Here on the Nautilus Belle Amie we have 5 cages. 2 are surface cages, and so they will always stay on the surface, and therefore absolutely everyone, but also primarily for uncertified divers who are unable to go down in the submersible cages, but can still get absolutely fantastic experiences up close to the great whites. Probably those cages are more focused on high impact, high intensity interactions with the sharks going at the baits. And we also have 3 submersible cages. These are for certified divers only. They go down to about 24 feet, 8 meters maximum, and therefore more relaxed and tranquil experiences with the sharks at depth. Shark wrangling is the practice of throwing a bait. We use yellowfin tuna stakes, heads, tails, into the water on a long nylon rope with a buoy on the end, and then an organic hemp line to connect it to the bait. And we use this to attract the sharks closer to the surface so we can get closer to them and have a closer interaction without intentionally feeding the sharks, but sometimes they get the bait. Yeah, I mean, all the animals that we dive with give us certain emotional experiences, but the great white is very, very special. It's really explosive animal, and it's just sheer size really just kind of blows people away. Sometimes there's quite a few expletives that are loose from people's lips because they just can't believe really what it is that they are witnessing, and that just sheer utter amazement and surprise is the same every single trip. Absolutely every time people are just when the first one breaches out of the water, or they're in a cage and the first one that really comes like head on towards them, it really shocks people. I don't think that you can ever be ready for that first experience with these animals. I love being in the water with the great white sharks because although they have certain behaviors that they will exhibit, they can always surprise you. You never know when they're going to turn the action on. Sometimes they just sneak up behind you when you think you've been checking everywhere. You turn around and there's one right behind you, literally meters away from your face, looking you right in the eye. So they're sneaky. When people first have an experience with the great whites, generally their first reaction is usually something to do with their size, because they're absolutely massive. But as the trip goes on and they spend more time within the water, that's when they start to see the other side, the more sensitive or cautious side of this animal, and so they see, yeah, they're actually quite relaxed for the majority of their time. Okay, at the very front. So if you look for after a day of diving, we like to do a thing called Shark ID. So this is when the guests are relaxing with a nice cold beer, a glass of wine. We're all kind of running down again, ready for dinner. And we try and get photos of the side profile of the great whites and put them up on the big screen in the saloon and see if we can ID them using our photo ID guides, and potentially find new individuals that you can potentially name. So all the sharks have different personalities, and sometimes their names will reflect this. Sometimes people will just name them after themselves, but other times it might reflect the way they look, if they've got particular scars, markings, or their personality, particularly if they're a bit crazy. Turnaround days when we return to port, our guests will disembark and we will prepare the vessel for our new guests and disembarkation in the evening. It can be quite hectic. We've got lots to do, maintenance, a lot of cleaning. We're going to have outside contractors coming on as well to do various jobs. So it's all hands on deck really, fitting meals where you can. But yeah, it's a long day, but you welcome the new guests in the evening and you set sail for another trip, which is always nice. One of the big reasons for me why I really enjoy this kind of work is the people that you get to meet and experience. They're from all around the world, different personalities, different cultures, and you get to spend a lot of time with them in a very enjoyable environment, whether it's on the back deck having fun with the sharks. I like to joke around in my presentations a little bit, or maybe when we're having wine and cheese on the top deck, or a couple of beers in the evening. It's always good, and people are generally very easy to laugh when they're on a trip or holiday of this kind of I don't know, trip of this kind of, what, magic? Energy? I don't know. A trip of this type. Yeah. People are very easy and quick to laugh when they're on a kind of adventure like this.
He's loving it. I'm loving it. Simple fun. Easy. Every day.
Well guys, if you'd like to come on an adventure with us at Nautilus Liveaboards and me, Marty, the dive master, please come along. We'll be happy to host you and take you on a fantastic adventure with definitely some of the best big animal diving on the planet. I can guarantee you're going to love the crew, you're going to love the vessels, and you're going to have a really, really good time. So hopefully I'll see you soon.